Welcome to AutoSens, the world's leading community for ADAS and autonomous vehicle technology development. We create best-in-class events, training, and information in order to connect the global community of scientists, engineers, and other automotive industry experts. One such expert is Manuel Ott, R&D Manager for Solectrix. And Manuel, welcome back to AutoSens. Good to see you again.
Thank you. Good to see you as well.
Manuel, the last time we spoke, we were talking about SXIVE and the different SXIVE SDKs that you introduced at AutoSens. So on your website, there are different case studies. Can you describe what you did with these case studies and then how you used SXIVE within the context of those projects?
Sure thing. Let me point out 3 of those projects. One project was for a truck OEM, and this customer already had the entire system ahead. So they had the sensor, they had the lens, they had the ISP, and now they had troubles on tuning the ISP. So the entire system needed to operate inside the use case. So meaning at night, on the highway, in cities, and so on and so forth, with different lighting conditions. And there they used SXIVE to tune the algorithms, and they had it in the truck. They could live tune it, and then they could transfer those tunings into their already captured scenes and see how this is performing basically. Another one was basically is with sensor OEMs. So the sensor OEMs, they want to sell their sensor. That's their business, right? But to sell those to sell those sensors, they need to have an ISP to show it to their customers. And so we do have a very flexible ISP in both of software-wise as well as hardware-wise, and they can use this as a win-win situation. So they can show the capabilities of their sensor and use our system to demonstrate that. And the third use case is of a car OEM, where the car OEM used SXIVE to safeguard their project. They used it in different matters. They had like different vendors to supply the parts in the project, and luckily they had SXIVE. Otherwise, the entire project would have gone differently than it is.
Yeah, and that was my next question, Manuel. So say for these use cases we've been talking about, say that you had not used SXIVE, how would it have been otherwise?
Yeah, right. So that's a very good question. If you have a look at this car OEM, as I mentioned, they have different vendors. So they have a vendor who supplies the camera head, including the sensor. So they have the sensor manufacturer, the camera head vendor. They had a vendor for the ISP and then the AI algorithms. And all this need to be integrated together at some point. And this car OEM, those experiences from previous projects was that when it comes to the integration, they had big troubles. And I'm not blaming anybody there, because specifications can be misunderstood, and the entire system is super complex with all the different parts in that. And there also mistakes can happen. So they used SXIVE to have one system from day on, and they could integrate all the different parts into SXIVE, into this system. And at the end, and when it came to the big integration of all the different parts into the final product, they had SXIVE for troubleshooting. So from the experience, they knew that it costs a lot of time, money, effort, and nerves in the end to have everything integrated and make it a successful project. But with SXIVE, we helped them from the beginning to get everything integrated together. So the customer was happy. They saved money in the end, they saved costs at the end, and they had us with SXIVE to have somebody to find the troubles, to find the errors in the system very easily, very quickly, and could benchmark the single components and make the entire project successful.
And Manuel, just to make sure that I'm following you correctly, so Solectrix can provide everything that you would need for the development of a camera-based system?
More or less, yes. So we have our soft ISP SDK that helps for image tuning, ISP tuning, evaluation, even in the very beginning. We have our calibration SDK, which helps with the intrinsic calibration when it comes to lens distortion correction, lens shading correction, or even white balancing. And we have a sensor communication module. And I'm really thrilled that we're going to have a new tool in our toolset very soon, which is going to be open source, and it's going to be a graphical tool with a nice GUI, which helps the customer with the sensor communication, and even with being within the NDA compliancy. So the customer, and this is asked by the customer so often, can really access different sensor registers by being NDA compliant, and to help them to tune the entire system. But that's something with more detail I'm gonna tell everybody on the press release, on the press announcement on the AutoSens in Barcelona.
Yeah, that sounds exciting. We've been talking about SXIVE naturally, and then this new announcement that's forthcoming in Barcelona.
Right.
Manuel, is there anything in addition that we should talk about? Anything in addition to what you already offer?
So when we listen to our customers, we very often hear that they want to extract KPIs out of an image, out of their system. And there we thought about how can we help our customer to fulfill this wish, more or less. And there we are about to bring together our SXIVE SDK with some other vendors' KPI ecosystem, so that it can communicate directly. So that's our next development, where we're heading towards, that a customer can get the KPIs out of the system. And for German-speaking people, we even have a German podcast about embedded vision. So that's something we can offer also our customers, where we talk about different parts of imaging within the embedded world.
That's fantastic. Speaking with Manuel Ott, R&D Manager for Solectrix. We've been speaking about SXIVE and some important use cases there, as well as an upcoming announcement in Barcelona, which we'll be looking forward to. Manuel, thank you for being with us today, sharing your expertise and your thought leadership. I look forward to seeing you in Barcelona and attending that press event and hearing more about this forthcoming announcement. Thank you, though, for being with us in the meantime.
Thank you for having me.
For more information on Solectrix and to find out more about our upcoming events, see the links in the description. And for more in-depth interviews like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel and join the AutoSens community on LinkedIn. In Detroit, on behalf of AutoSens, I'm Carl Anthony.